Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Ramadan and today I will explain the word of English phonology and the rest of the subjects. And without further ado, let's be talking about the subject. Phonemes. What is phoneme? Phonemes is the number of speech sounds in English varies from dialect to dialect, and any actual tally depends greatly on the interpretation of the research doing the counting. The Longman Pronunciation Dictionary by John C. Wells, for example, using symbol of the International Phonetic Alphabet or IPA, denotes 24 consonant and 23 vowel used in received pronunciation, plus 2 additional consonant and 4 additional vowel used in foreign word only. For general America, it provides for 25 consonant and 19 vowels, with 1 additional consonant and 3 additional vowel for foreign words. The American Heritage Dictionary, on the other hand, suggests 25 consonant and 18 vowels, including air-colored vowels for American English, plus 1 consonant and 5 vowels for non-English terms. Consonant. Consonant in articulatory phonetics, a consonant is a speech sound that is articulated with complete or partial closure of the vocal tract. Examples are P and B pronounced with the lips, F and D pronounced with the front of the tongue, K and G pronounced with the back of the tongue, H pronounced in the throat, F, V, and S pronounced by forcing air through a narrow channel, fructivis, and M and N, which have air flowing through the nose, nasal. Contrasting with consonant are vowels. And what is vowels? The vowels of English differ considerably between dialects. Because of this, corresponding vowels may be transcribed with various symbols depending on dialect. Under the consideration when considering English as a whole, no specific phoneme symbol are fixed over the other. Instead, lexemes sets are used, each named by a word containing the vowel in question. For example, the vowel of lot set short O is transcribed to A in received pronunciation in A in General America and C in Australian English. Transcription variant. The choice of which symbol to use phonetic transcription may reveal theoretical assumptions or claims on the part of the transcriber. English, lex, and tense vowel are distinguished by synergy of features such as height, leg, and contour, or monophthong versus diphthong. Different traditions in linguistic literature emphasize different features. Stress is phonemic in English. For example, the word desert and dessert are distinguished by stress. The noun are record and the verb of record. Stress syllables in English are louder than non-stress syllables, as well as being longer and having higher pitch. They also tend to have fuller realization than unstressed syllables. So in here we have the word dessert and dessert are distinguished by stress. So in here we have the stress or the punya stress sini. Jadi penekanannya agak berbeda seperti word dessert and dessert. Dan sedangkan di sini memiliki tekanan di awal. Dessert memiliki tekanan di awal, sedangkan dessert memiliki tekanan di akhir. Mungkin seperti itu ya, maaf bila salah. Kita lanjut lagi. Example of the stress in English word using boldface to represent stress syllable are holiday, alone, administration, confidential, degree, and weaker. Ordinary grammatically word or auxiliary verbs, preposition, pronouns, and the like do not receive stress, whereas lexical words, noun, verb, adjective, and etc. must have at least one stress syllable. English is a stress-time language. That is, stress syllables appear in roughly steady tempo, and non-stressed syllables are shortened to accommodate this. Next, intonation. Pronunciation stress is extra given by the words when they appear in certain position in utterance or when they receive special emphasis. It normally appears on the final stress syllable in an intonation unit. So, for example, when the word administration is said in isolation, or the end of the sentence syllable of ra is pronounced with greater force than syllable at, that is transcribed as administration. This is the origin of the primary stress secondary stress distinction. However, the difference disappears when the word is not pronounced with the final intonation. Prosodic stress can serve for various pragmatic functions such as focus or contrast. For instance, consider in the dialogue. Is it brunch tomorrow? No, it's dinner tomorrow. No, it's dinner tomorrow. In this case, the extra stress received from the last stress syllable of the sentence tomorrow and the last stress syllable of the emphasis word dinner. Compare I'm going tomorrow, I'm going tomorrow, or I'm going tomorrow, or I'm going tomorrow with it's dinner tomorrow, it's dinner tomorrow. Although grammatically words generally do not have lexical stress, they do acquire prosodic stress when emphasis. Compare to ordinary rhythm. The next one is rhythm. English is claimed to be stress-time language. This is stress syllables tend to appear with the more or less regular rhythm, while non-stress syllables are shortened to accommodate this. For example, in the sentence one make of car is better than the other, the syllable one make car bad and not will be stressed relatively long, while the other syllable to be considerably shorter. The theory of stress timing predicts that each of the three unstressed syllables in between bad and not will be shortened than the syllable of between make and car, because three syllables must fit into the same amount of time. As they are available for of, however, it should not be assumed that all varieties of English are stress time. In this way, the English spoken in the West Indies, in Africa and India are probably better characterized as syllable time, though the lack of agreed scientific test for categorizing an accent or language as stress time or syllable time may lead one to doubt the value of such characterization. The phoneme, the same but different. Variation and when to ignore it, recognizing that two objects or concepts are the same but different. Although of the present major philosophical problem, the phrase itself seems self-contradictory. However, in practice, we categorize elements of our world in just this way on an everyday basis. A 2-year-old grabs the fact that his right shoe and left shoe are very similar but actually belong on different feet, and as a result we have no difficulty in recognizing that lemons and lime are different but both citrus fruits, or that misery and happiness are different but both emotions. This short hierarchical clarification is exactly what is at issue when we turn to the notion of the poem, Humans excel at ignoring perspective differences which are not relevant for a particular purpose. To illustrate this, take a piece of paper and write your normal signature 6 times. 3 will certainly be minor difference between them, but you will still easily recognize all those 6 signatures as yours, with the minor modification only detectable by uncharacteristically close scrutiny, perhaps more to the point someone else checking your signature against the one on your credit card will also discern those minor variants and recognize the general pattern as identifying you. There are exceptions, of course. Some alterations are obvious and usually environmentally controlled, so if someone jolts your elbow or the paper slips, you apologize and sign again. On the whole, however, the human mind seems to abstract away from irrelevant automatic variation and to focus higher-level patterns, though we are typically unaware of that abstraction and of the complex process underlying it. This relatively high tolerance level is why mechanical systems constructed and recognized handwritten or spoken language are still elementary and highly complex, and why they require so much training from each potential user. Each sentence and lowercase letter elsewhere giving the prescribed pattern in one. Number 1. Anna, Africa, Africa. An apple for Anna. Give Anna an apple. Main difference, accent versus dialect. Accent and dialect both refer to distinctive way of using language, especially one associated with particular country, region, or social class. Dialect refers to a variety of language that contain distinctive variation in grammar, syntax, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Accent refers to the variation in the pronunciation. Therefore, the main difference between accent and dialect is that accent deals with phonetic and phonology, where dialect deals with many areas such as morphology, phonology, syntax, semantics, etc. What is accent? Accent deals with the phonology of the language. It is a way of pronouncing words that occur among the people in a particular region or country. For example, someone from Alabama in the south of the US would have a southern accent. This means that the way he or she pronounces the way is different from the way a northern would pronounce. In addition, when standard language pronunciations are defined by a various standard, an accent may also refer to the deviation of the standard. For example, if someone says that another person is speaking English with French accent, it implies that his pronunciation is out of the standard norms. Accent is a special element of dialect which is solely focused on the pronunciation. Accent is usually associated with factors like geographical region, socioeconomic status, ethnicity, class, and first language. What is dialect? Dialect is variety of language spoken in particular geographical area or by a particular group of people. A dialect differs from the standard variety of language. A dialect is characterized by variation in grammar, pronunciation, or vocabulary. A dialect can also reflect a person's geographical location, social background, education, and occupation. Dialect can be classified into two categories, standard and non-standard. Standard dialect is dialect that is approved and supported by institution, and non-standard dialect are those that are not supported by institution. Next is articulatory phonetic. So we will talk about this section. The field of articulatory phonetic is subfield of phonetics that studies articulation and ways that humans produce speech. Articulatory phonetics explain how humans produce speech sound via interaction of different physiological structures. Generally, articulatory phonetics is concerned with transformation of aerodynamic energy into acoustic energy. Aerodynamic energy refers to the airflow through the vocal tract, its potential from air pressure, its kinetic from the actual dynamic airflow. Acoustic energy is variation in the air pressure that can be represented as sound waves, which are perceived by human auditory system as sound. Respiratory sounds can be produced by expelling air from the lungs. However, to vary the sound quality in a way useful for speaking, two speech organs normally move toward each other to contact each other to create an obstruction that sets the air in particular fashion. The point of maximum obstruction is called the place of articulation, and the way the obstruction forms and releases is the manner of articulation. For example, when making a P sound, the lips come together tightly, blocking the air, momentarily causing a build-up of air pressure. The lips then release suddenly, causing bursts of sound. The place of articulation of the sound is therefore called bilabial, and the manner is called stop, also known as plosive. Component. The vocal tract can be viewed through the aerodynamic biomechanic model that includes three main components: air cavities, piston, air valves. Air cavities are containers of air molecules of specific volume and masses. The main air cavities present in articulatory system are supraglottal cavity and the subglottic cavity. They are so named because of the glottis, the open space between vocal folds internal to the larynx, separates the two cavities. The supraglottal cavity, or the original cavity, is divided into an oral subcavity, the cavity from the glottis to the lips, excluding the nasal cavity, and nasal subcavity, the cavity from the velopharyngeal port, which can be closed by raising the velum. The subglottal cavity consists of the trachea and the lungs. The atmosphere external to the articulatory system may also consider an air cavity whose potentially connecting points with respect to the body or nostrils and the lips. Pistons are initiator. The term of initiator refers to the fact that they are used to initiate a change in the volume air cavities. And by law, the corresponding air pressure of cavity, the term refers to the change. Since change air pressure between connected with cavities lead the airflow between the cavities, initiation is also referred to as an airstream mechanism. The three pistons present in the articulatory system are the larynx, the tongue body, and the physiological structure used to manipulate lung volume, in particular the floor and the walls of the chest. The lung pistons are used to initiate a pulmonic airstream found in all human language. The larynx is used to initiate the glottic airstream mechanism by changing the volume of the supraglottal and subglottal cavities via vertical movement, and the larynx with a closed glottis. Ejective and implosive are made with airstream mechanism. The tongue body creates a velaric airstream by changing the pressure within the oral cavity. The tongue body changes the mouth change to the mouth subcavity. Click consonant use the valeric airstream mechanism. Piston are controlled by various muscle valves regulate airflow between cavities. Airflow occurs when an air valve is open and there is a pressure difference between the connecting cavities. When air valve is closed, there is no airflow. The air valves are the vocal folds. The glottis which regulates between the supraglottal and supraglottal cavities. The fallopital port which regulates between the oral and nasal cavities. Nasal cavities. The tongue which regulates between the oral cavity and the atmosphere, and the lips which also regulate between the oral cavity and the atmosphere. Like the piston, the air valves are also controlled by various muscles. The next is initiation. Initiation to produce any kind of sound. Kita cek dulu. Oh ya, masih record sih. Initiation to produce any kind of sound. There must be a movement of air to produce sound that people can interpret as spoken words. The movement of air must pass through the vocal cords up through the throat and into the mouth or nose, then leave the body. Different sounds are formed by different positions of the mouth, or as linguists call it, the oral cavity, to distinguish it from the nasal cavity. Consonant. Consonant are speech sounds that are articulated with a complete or partial closure of the vocal tract. They are generally produced by the modification of airstream exhale from the lungs. The respiratory organs used to create and modify airflow are divided into three regions: the vocal tract, supralaryngeal, the larynx, and the subglottal system. The airstream can be either aggressive out of the vocal tract or ingressive into the vocal tract. In pulmonic sounds, the airstream is produced by the lungs in the subglottal system and passes through the larynx and vocal tract. Glottic sound use an airstream created by a movement of the larynx without the airflow from the lungs. Click consonants are articulated through the rarefaction of air using tongue followed by releasing the toward closure of the tongue. Place of articulation. Jadi ini adalah letak-letak setiap artikulasi dari nomor 1 bisa dilihat. Kita ganti dulu. Dari nomor 1 exolabial, mungkin ini bagian atas bibir ya. Exolabial, bagian bawah, endolabial, bagian bawah bibir. Dental, gigi, nomor 4. Alveolar, yang atas gigi ini. Alveolar, nomor 5. Post alveolar, 6 prepalatal, 7 palatal, 8 velar, 9 uvular, 10 pharyngeal, 11 glottal, 12 epiglottal. Ini mungkin kerongkongan ya kira-kira nih. Epiglottal, 13 radikal, 14 protodorsal, paling bawah bagian lidah paling bawah kayaknya nih, 15 anterodorsal, 16 lamial, 17 apikal, 18 subapikal or sublaminal. Dan ini kembali seperti tadi nomor 1 dengan nomor 2, exolabial, endolabial. Consonants are pronounced in the vocal tract, usually in the mouth. In order to describe the place of articulation, the active and passive articulator need to be known. In most cases, the active articulator are the lips and tongue. The passive articulator is the surface on which the constriction is created. Constriction made by the lips are called labial. Constriction can be made in several parts of the vocal tract, broadly classified into coronal, dorsal, and radical place of articulation. Coronal articulations are made with the front of the tongue, dorsal articulations are made with the back of the tongue, and radical articulations are made in the pharynx. These divisions are not sufficient for distinguishing and describing all speech sounds. For example, in English the sound S and S are both coronal, but they are pronounced in different places of the mouth. To account for this, more detailed lists of articulations are needed based upon the area of the mouth in which this constriction occurs. Okay, I think that's all I can explain. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm so sorry if there are still many subjects that are not explained properly, and I'm really sorry about that. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again next time.